I'm gonna straight up say that, here's the story. Here's the story, not in depth, not littered with bullshit. Like, here's just the story straight up. I was depressed in 2019 because a lot of things, mostly because my dad. And there's not a whole lot to just the not being, or kind of losing connection with him that felt, that took a toll on me. And it was very, it was pretty much like, it's like it's losing someone close, but like mentally, like I always use like BoJack Horseman, the way he, like he was friends with these people, and then something happens, so they cut them off, or cut him off. It was like that. That's how it felt, It's like going forward, he doesn't care. And I'm gonna say this, like, obviously, when when something happens to you for the first time and you don't know what to do, you know, regardless of how things were like in the past, where like people don't listen to you, regardless how people treated you, or if they say, it's not that bad, you'll get over it, you should seek professional help. And I'm not saying this because, the worst thing you could do is talk to someone that you wanted to talk to for a while, and the first thing you say is, you have a mental, or you want to die or something like that, because that's pretty much what happened. So I started talking to this random person, and I ended up, I guess, experiencing depression to the point where like I was literally having suicidal thoughts. And up until that point, it's like I was planning something, but it wasn't like fully concrete. It wasn't like actually gonna be like, well, at the point it was just like, I don't think I was gonna go through it with it. But regardless, it's still a scary situation, regardless if you're the victim that hears someone saying that they're gonna do it, or if you're the victim that's feeling like, you're going to do it, or you think you should do it. It's never the answer, and you should seek professional help. I didn't. And up after that, I just kept talking to this person. This person obviously got uncomfortable to the point where she didn't want me talking anymore, because I was going through a hard time, and like that probably traumatized her. It just so happens that in this series of unfortunate events, primarily with me, this other person that I wanted to talk to just so happens to be that person's friend. And I had a hard time talking to just, probably, I guess, in general. I mean, I could talk to people, but I just couldn't go out my way to start a conversation with a random person. So I had like anxiety when talking. The thing I did after I stopped, the other person cut ties with me, I said something stupid to like, because I wanted to talk to that person. I thought about like talking to them to talk, to their friend. It was stupid. It was dumb, and they ended up blocking me on Instagram, both of them, obviously. Uh, and like this felt like this felt like the second bad time. Like this, there was dad, and then now there's this. And because I haven't experienced these things before, it felt really, really just torturous, I guess. Like, it felt like I was just being tortured, and I was alone, and I was just in a closed space this whole entire time. but I couldn't like voice my opinion, my words. I couldn't say that like, hey, you know, can we like just not do this? Like my brain just kept coming up with dumb ideas and more just filler to say. On to the next chapter. So, during this time, I found Clone High, and I believe it was like Watch Mojo that had like that as a thumbnail, and it was like talking about like underrated cartoons or whatever. So, and then I found Rebel Taxi's video. Great YouTuber, highly recommend him if you like nostalgia, cartoons, like PlayStation 2 game era stuff. Like, amazing YouTuber if you like that stuff. And he was talking about the show and talking about the soundtrack, and I was like, oh wow, like yeah, you know, I recognize Alkaline Trio. I know, but specifically with Clone High, the main appeal of Clone High is that it's the best representation of high school with a little bit of comedic hilarity, like ensue moments as well, that have amazing characters, grounded and also funny at the same time. Historic basic jokes, which I love history. But specifically, the writing in that show is... It's like it was made for the future. It was like made for like future Gen Z, TikTok people. Like a lot of the lines and stuff like that, like they have been used on TikTok. I think my favorite moment though from the show period, like just as well, there's two, and I think a lot of people agree with these two. The first one is Lincoln telling Joan that she should express how she feels, like through by showing everybody her movie, even though she doesn't want everybody to know that she likes Lincoln. And he gives a great speech, which is kind of funny, but at the same time, kind of real, and almost like something that like one of your friends that you know that are always there for you to support you, like kind of one of those things to say. The other one, and I guess I'll show these two clips. The other one being what JFK says after he loses his best friend in an episode.
This is a sign, Joan. If you don't express yourself, you'll just keep saying fine when someone asks you how you are. And then one day someone will say, how are you, Joan? And you know what your answer will be? There won't be one, because you'll be dead. Are you all right? No. But
when it's at its worst.
Will be.
And within this, like, you know, a lot of people go on about these characters and say, like, you know, which one reminds them of them, maybe a little bit of this one, a little bit of that one. I would say that I'm probably the most like Joan, but I'm also a little bit like Lincoln, and I guess but I'm not much of like JFK or Gandhi, really. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not really Gandhi. However, realistically, Clone High wouldn't be complete without its soundtrack. And for those that don't know, like, you know, I'm huge into music. I make music. I love music to the point where, you know, how can anybody live life without music, you know? And how can people watch movies without music? How can people appreciate life without music? Because music is to accompany us through emotions. And that's exactly what Clone High does. Clone High specifically, everybody, some people have stories well, actually, a lot of people have a story of their first album that got them through, or got them into specific genres, got them into specific sounding artists, got them into just music in general. And that first album to me was Abandoned Pool's Humanistic album, which is their first album, which was made along with the music they, well, yeah, because they include music in Clone High. They wrote music for Clone High, and they wrote the theme song for Clone High. But specifically, Humanistic alone is like the importance of Clone High. It's has serious sounding songs, and also, but a little bit of parodying lyrics, along with its appreciable sound. It's everything you love about early 2000s, along with everything you love about indie rock and everything. And Abandoned Pools got me into so many artists and emo or indie artists like Dashboard Confessional, Sunday's Best, The Californian, even I guess Carissa's Weird, Songs About Leaving, and Sorority Noise, You're Not As You Think. I wouldn't have found those albums if I didn't appreciate the importance of how indie music and emo music really signifies, like, it's music that understands the youth. It's music that understands the emotional side of people. And that's how Clone High and both Clone High and Humanistic reflect that when it comes to whatever audience is experiencing it. You know? Because some people might be like, this is one or two things are good. Other people might be like, you know what, I get it. I completely understand the appeal of this, and this resonates with me. Another thing that I guess I want to mention, I haven't really, you can't fully call me a fan yet, but another important band that I really would love to do more justice with in the future, like to explain how significant their music means to me, would be the Airborne Toxic Men, which again, it would be another band. I would consider them to be quite possibly my favorite indie band, or my favorite band in general, because, you know, they genres is genres, you know, but no gatekeeping here. But I wouldn't understand their music if it wasn't for Abandoned Pools. My favorite Abandoned Pools song has to be Suburban Muse, because I think it's one of the easiest songs I could think of when it comes to what do I think of high school, or what reminds me of high school. That song just alone reminds me of the feeling, the environment, the nostalgia of springtime or summer in high school. As of that, now that those are mentioned, though, I would very much like to address the more important things that have happened recently, and also, I guess, the after effects of what happened after Quiet Kid Quadrant episode 2, and that'll be explored in the next segment, which is, and then we reach grade 12. Grade 12, for anybody that knows, like, I understand, I completely understand now why someone would leave the class that I was in because of me. I understand that because of hard times and everything. And honestly, like, just if we ever end up being in the same place again, and we try our best to avoid being anywhere near each other, but yet we're still forced in that situation. I gotta say that like that would probably open me up to understanding why, because why someone wouldn't want to be there. It's almost like going back. It's like PTSD. It's almost like going back to war, except the war is just a person. After that, though, you know, things were quiet. And when I mean quiet, I mean like my brain was still kind of like just encouraging me to do shit that I shouldn't have done. It was just randomly writing friends of theirs and like kind of like saying that like, you know, I'm trying to get over this. I'm trying to like, I would like to talk. I feel better now. But in reality, it wasn't true, you know. I haven't had professional help, or I hadn't had professional help then, and I might have even lied about it. But the truth is, I was thinking more about myself in the instance rather than the situation being solved as a whole, because it's almost like going back to war just so you can get that one thing you wanted, you know. And I've realized that no one should live a life like that, and no one should ever force the other person to bring up that horrible experience for them just so you can satisfy what you wanted to accomplish, you know. Throughout this, I guess that's when I made the video. That's when I made the stuff. I haven't ever talked with that person ever since through a message sometime last year, early last year, like January, maybe late January. And I don't want to. If they don't think it's time, if they don't think it's right, I completely respect that. I don't understand what I was saying back then, last year. You know, going through hard times isn't justified to bring up someone's trauma just to supposedly fix things for yourself, you know. And like to shine to another thing that I still also think about is how many people defended me in this situation. You know, it's like, yeah, you know, it's like two wrongs don't make a right, and I never saw my wrong to be a wrong. However, and clearly everybody else I talked with didn't either, and to be honest, it is a wrong, you know. It's just because someone doesn't want to, because someone is having a hard time, doesn't mean you should make another person have a hard time. And those two correlating things just, I've realized, like, completely just defeats the whole purpose of what a conclusion should be, what closure means. On top of that, I've also screwed things up with their friend. In how I view that situation is more like, you know, honestly, at this point, like, I should just stop and drop social media. However, you know, I do enjoy I do like having the music, I do like having my channel, I do like having the ability to interact with people that, you know, don't live where I am, but also, like, you know, they're there for me. And in respect of like respecting other people's wishes, I actually wanted to I wanted to delete my page. I wanted to delete my Instagram page, and I wanted to set up another one. However, when another thing happened, and everybody knows this, it's the story of if obsessiveness won't kill me. I ended up thinking that that person was going to be in danger, and I only acted on it as just so I could be the one to stop it. Or no, not stop it, just so I could be the hero. However, it was just a misunderstood situation. It was a complete misunderstanding. And regardless if the person was mentally ill or not, it was not right of me to randomly let them know that, hey, this person might want to harm you. After that, you know, we haven't talked, and I'm still trying to understand the dreams, the nightmares, the correlation between random moments that happen in my life that point to that specific person, and try to get me to, and I try to understand why this is, you know. In movies, it's like the sign that this person is in love with that other person. In reality, it feels more like this person's gonna be on my mind until like I actually have a real conversation with them, and then afterwards we see what happens. Because what ended up happening with my one friend was I ended up well, not, I guess, dating, I guess, for a week, and when I realized that, you know, this might have just been a mistake, not from the start, but just a mistake in general, for the reason that I wanted to talk to this other person, or my friend, or I guess I could say my newfound best friend. I could see that, you know, this might have happened if I didn't talk, if I didn't make this one friend, you know. If I just jumped in and I ended up becoming friends with them, that I could have screwed things up, and that could have really just that could have like completely shifted everything about me as a person in general, to be honest. I know I was very emotional in the last segment of that video, and I still, you know, like, I'm not afraid to admit it. Like, last night I had a nightmare, and the nightmare felt like almost like a full-length film, and I woke up numb. And because of that was because it was with her, and it was like a fading, it was like a fading sequence where like everybody was normal except for the situation where she ended up running away, and I kept chasing, and then I started like wondering, like, is this a dream? Am I gonna wake up, or is this reality? And will I be able to face the consequences? And it was almost like a dream inside of a dream, where I ended up thinking like, literally like crying in my dream, thinking that this was a dream. And when and then I actually faced the consequences and faced the reality, and that's when I woke up. So the way how I view that dream, or that nightmare, is that that's going to be reality. I don't want to spoil anything for the next upcoming albums, but the first album is going to be about facing the obstacles in life, and the second one is going to be accepting what you can't change, all which correlate with the same person and are about the same person, but also reflect on the reality of what happened and what's, I guess, happening now. I guess my closing segment is that it's difficult. It really is. It's difficult for me, and I'm sure it's difficult for other people, or it might not be. Maybe they have moved on, but I'm still stuck living that same year, and I'm still stuck in high school, even though I'm not. I'm in college now, and I'm accomplishing a lot for myself, and yeah, it doesn't feel that way. Take this as what you want. This is what I originally wanted to make from the start. I didn't want to make a hate-filled video. I wanted to make a realistic video that isn't just about me complaining or whining. I wanted to make a real video of me just talking and expressing how I actually felt about everything that went down. And all of this just because of abandonment. And not even abandonment with those two people, abandonment with my dad. From my life. This is Josh Alamazon, signing out.